Good afternoon, everyone. I've just hit record and I'd like to thank you for coming to the Create Your W5 Story session. My name is Jeanette Martin. I have my own company, MYBC Consulting. I do live in Langley, British Columbia. You would think the MyBC stands for My British Columbia, but it actually stands for Move Your Bum Chum. So I help you move your bum in the way that you want to take your business and building relationships. So today's session is all about creating your W5 story. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll get going. So those of you that are popped on, you will be recorded. You are more than welcome to take yourself off recording if you wish. And we'll go from there. So to me, your W5 story in a life is your who, your what, your where, your when, and your why. And it's about creating your story so you know how to build relationships on the social media platform, how to increase your credibility through other people shouting out about your W5 story, and ultimately providing those solutions. So identifying your story and how it fits into other people's story, and or if their story fits into your story, how you can build those great relationships. So a little bit about myself. Like I said, MYBC Consulting. I'm a business strategist and a master connector. My information is there, a couple of different emails and my website. And MYBC is lifting up the world. Back in 2014, actually tomorrow, no fooling, I started my company on April 1st. I had to learn about the different platforms in order to communicate my message out there when I started my companies and the various companies that hired me. So it all came down to lifting up other people, lifting up our story, and lifting up our messages out there in order to build relationship. So lifting up stands for LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter are the nouns. And when you apply the action of your intentions, bringing in your networks, you will get your goals in life. So this is all about applying the action behind these incredible tools that we have. So my kind of Reader's Digest version of my W5 story is who am I? I'm Jeanette Y. Martin. And why do I put the Y in there? Why? It is my middle name. There is a lady that's a real estate agent in Texas with the same name as me. So I identify myself out there. I'm the owner of MyBC Consulting. My business is definitely global. And my when is I want to be the presence in somebody's life, so I'm perceived as the gift. And my why in life is I'm helping others share their story, their W5 story, to the four corners of this round world, teaching new behavioral mindsets on how we're going to connect your W5 story. So you were all sent your form. And on that form, you have the word who across the form. Above the boxes, I would like you to fill in who you are. So by that, I mean, these are some examples: a mom, a dad, a business owner, a traveler, a community volunteer. So above the who box, write who you are. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. And you can just let me know when you are ready to move on to the next slide. Oops, I'm messing up my screen here. Your who is so important, and thinking about using the social media platforms, we have to show up holistically. I don't know about you, but when I was doing business in person, I didn't put just my business hat on, and when I went into a customer or went in or had a customer interaction, I didn't talk about my family. I didn't talk about what I did on my off time, because it was all about building that commonality with that person's who and my person's who. Okay, are you ready to move on? Great. So the next is, what do you do? So in your box that says what, and then below that who, put in a couple of things that you do in that who role. It may seem like we're going to Dr. Whoville, but we all need those who's in our lives. So if you are a business owner, I sell a product. If you are maybe a student right now or in college, you're a college student, this is what you're doing. Maybe you're product creation in that who role. Maybe you nurture others. So take a look is when I'm in that role, being who I am, what are you concretely doing? And if you can put a couple of what's, that will help. Your what is so important because that's what we do to educate and add value out on the social media platforms. Okay, so the next one, where do you do what you do in a particular place? And if you said you're a wife and what I do is I nurture and love my husband, but where in your home is, say, your favorite place? So put it like in the living room. We do a kitchen. If you say you're a runner and that's one of your who words and you love to run 5Ks, where are you? What trail? Get specific. Tell me where location you do what you do. So write that in the where box. And the more specific that you are, it will help you create the imagery when you start posting your W5 story on the social media platforms. I love looking at people's posts and seeing where they are in life. Okay? This is my favorite. Simon Sinek says about your why. You got to lead with your why. Well, your why is important because that's kind of why we get up and we do what we do. But on social media, our viewers want to see our when moments so they can feel part of our evolution of our company. Or if they're missing something in their business or in their life, when they look at your post, it's like, I want a little bit of that when moment in my life. So I often say when you're wearing that who hat, doing what you're doing in that where location, what is a when moment that you feel really confident and you present your solution? Another when moment I like to define is, I don't know about you, anybody out there that has worked with teams and maybe your boss or walks by and you can kind of feel his eyes on the back of your head as you're working on your project. And you turn around and you kind of look and you go, what? And he's just smiling. He's just smiling and he's beaming. And you're like, what? And he goes, when you are working on that project with your head down and you're so focused at your desk, it just makes me so proud that you're part of our team. So, or another great when moment to understand confidence, because it's those when moments in life that we confidently take and put our W5 story into. So another idea is, say, Brady and I, we're good friends, and you're like, Brady says, Jeanette, I want you to go for coffee, and I want you to meet my friends Sally and Terry. And we're sitting down and we're having coffee and we're enjoying each other. And Brady's friend Terry says something about social media. And us human beings in a split second will make the decision going, I'm enjoying this. I'm not going to correct her. It's just these are great friends. I'm never really going to put any more energy into these two ladies. We're just having a great coffee. Or I turn it into a when moment. Hey, Terry, thank you. You know what? That's amazing. Your thought process about social media. I happen to do this for a living. This is my take. This is how I utilize it. So think of those when moments that you have stepped into your life in one of those who hats, because that's the magic to share out to the world. So I'm going to leave you to kind of to think about that just a little bit. When do we feel confident? When do we feel confident in, I'm sure, because I know I've gone through life and you see somebody struggling or you see somebody celebrating, and you know what? That's a when moment. I'm going to go make sure that person feels really good that they're celebrating. To me, because they're in their story. So that makes sense. It aligns with my W5 story in order to say that. And this is how we're going to find our customers. I love the word when. One of the best books I've ever read. I love Daniel Pink. I've read everything of Daniel Pink. I own everything. And he just wrote, I think last year, late 2019, the book When. And it talks about when to make meetings, when to make big decisions, when to have great conversations, when to teach. So it's a great book. That when moment is when we're living in our presence of our greatness, because we are doing something for ourselves. Now, that all leads to, why do you do what you do? Sometimes we have to define our personal why, a business why, or a combination of both. So why every morning when we open up our eyes and go, I'm putting my feet on the ground and I'm going out and I'm doing this in the world? Why are we doing what we're doing? And like I shared at the beginning, my why is I'm helping others share their stories to the four corners of this round world, because I believe stories matter, and that's how businesses are built, on one story idea at a time. Our why. I also have a personal why. My personal why, guys, is I believe God made me of matter, so I can go matter to somebody else. I can take bits of my matter and matter to somebody else. So I'm creating space in when I go, make sure that somebody else matters. And when you start posting on social media, it's so important to always loop your content back to your why. Because to me, this is what I like to call the un-BS factor. Is what we're communicating out there, it's about us. It's our why. It's a living, breathing picture of videos of our why. Okay. So now we got to create some clarity, because you got a lot of words going on there. So at the top of your page, you want to circle the nouns. So normally all your who words are nouns. If you said a loving wife or a creative business owner, the business like owner is the noun. So take your highlighter or a different color pen and circle the nouns. This is now what I like to call the woo-woo plus the science of our brains and our way our mindset thinks. So I can say I'm a business owner, and I start the chatter in my head, and I can talk myself out of it before I even talk about it, communicate it about it, post about it. So we have to know, get clear, so other people will believe in our story. Okay, are you ready? Now, I want you to say them out loud, because the whole idea is when we say it out loud, it kicks the dopamine, which is the feel-good hormone, down to the adrenaline, to the voice box, to be received to the world. If we can't strongly say our own who words, when you go to communicate it on social media, you're going to fall upon deaf ears. So I'd like you, and I'm going to be your receiver. You can keep yourself on mute. And I just want you to say the word, sit nice and tall, say the word, pause for like 5 seconds, say the next word, and I will be receiving your word. I will feel the vibration, because I'll be able to watch you as you say your word. Go ahead. Okay. So now choose 5 of them that resonate with you. So by resonate, I mean, did you sit a little taller when that word came out? Did you slouch down when you said that word? What 5 words really resonated back that you felt the universe, the energy behind them? Okay. These are your 5 words. They're your 5 words. Think of those 5 words as it applies to your reality, your business, and your life. Think of the images that come to mind. Think of the images that we've gone out and you've taken that, and we've all got a cloud full of photographs. And now looking at those images that we have, and it's like, who was I doing that? What? Where was I? What when moment that I wanted to capture it, and why? Holistically look at pictures now and how you can use that to communicate your story. So this is my magic mindset reset, or my mindset change when I now use social media is, who am I? Well, I'm doing my what in the where location, feeling confident in the moment of my when, fulfilling my why. We need to take that photograph. We need to post about it. We need to write about it. We need to share the moment. Even in the framework of that who, what, where, when, why. Oh, I just finished up a big project, and you've taken a photograph of all the papers on your desk, and you're like, oh, that was just amazing. And you've got all the papers there, and you take that photograph and you post that out on LinkedIn. And it's like, project done. So satisfied. That customer's going to be so excited. Wow, my system of getting the project done worked. If that's your project manager, you feel really comfortable because someone looking at that post will have the same kind of eyes. You're training me on how to view your post to get educated. It's so important too, if you work in teams or with your partner or your family, is have them know your W5 story, meaning when I'm your mom and I'm doing my mom things, you know what I like to do, my mom things, and we're in the kitchen or in the family room or out on a walk, I allow you to take pictures of me. Don't post, just send them to me so then I can take a look at it and go, oh, yeah, I was being a mom, I was walking my kids, when was that, where was that? If that photograph could help educate, add value out there to explain who you are and how you show up for your business, post about it. So post content based on your 5 words. It's your truth. Nobody can call BS when you start sharing about your 5 words. The reason why I choose 5 is if you can commit to every single day posting a little something, a little post or content about that 5 words, you start to show consistency to your audience. Plus 5 days of the week, you're showing me I take 2 days off. My work week is 5 days. So 5 days, 5 days of work, 5 days of content. Also, if you can't commit to 5 days each and every day at a set time, because remember, I don't know about you, but when I took the newspaper and I committed to being a follower and a connection of the newspaper, I wanted it at my doorstep 7:30 every single morning so I could read it. So now me saying I'm following and connected to you, especially on LinkedIn, every day, 10 o'clock, you're going to post. I've now bought into you, the brand, to educate me. And if you don't post that day, I start thinking all crazy thoughts. Oh, where'd she go? I didn't get the message. I didn't get the post today. I didn't get the alert today. That's not how we want to build relationship. We want to show consistency. If you can't do it every single day, you have a rotation of 5 weeks. Post one out on Monday, and then you work the post so you can show consistency. Now, this is the magic about the W5 story. You now know what your story is. You start viewing social media posts by the same methodology. And I often say that if you were looking at this picture that you're seeing now, and maybe I do a still shot like this, and the caption under the picture is, love working in my home kitchen, even though I have a beautiful office in Surrey, I'm getting so much work done. Love what I do. Say, Brady, you were a coffee person. You had a coffee company. You would look at the picture and you're like, first of all, who is Jeanette being in that picture? What's she doing? She's sitting at her desk. Where is she? She's in her kitchen. When moment did she want to share? And why is she sharing it? Okay, good. Yeah, I'm understanding. Oh, look, Jeanette has coffee. She's got a coffee thing and she grinds fresh coffee. Oh, she's got a toaster oven. So she doesn't microwave. So she likes to make good fresh food, not buying frozen food. Oh, she's got funky art. Oh, she's got a funky little teapot. She likes tea and she likes to cook. So by you coming back and knowing what you have aligns with my life, and you come back and you put a little comment going, you know what, Jeanette, I love when you share pictures in your office. It's so funky and so cool. What's going on in your life right now? What did you just finish up? Nothing about, hey, I'm going to suggest her I got the best coffee to go in that coffee container. You're going to show up for me, because the reason why we use social media is to be seen. So you're seeing me in my W5 story and you're acknowledging me, you saying I matter. And then we carry on that conversation. And then maybe 2 or 3 comments in, you may go, oh, you know what, Jeanette, I noticed on your counter, you've got a coffee container. I'm going to direct message you a little deal about getting some coffee, because you've done the work ahead of time. You've done the steps ahead of time. So guys, to wrap this up, you were born with a blank set of encyclopedias. There's no greater gift in this world than to be in somebody else's set. To be a chapter, a sentence, a word, heavens to Betsy, a whole volume into somebody's life. That's how we lift up other people, is making sure that their stories are out there. So with those of you that take this course, so do you want to know how to apply this information to your social media platforms? I can tell you the mindset of the person using is very different on LinkedIn, is very different on Instagram, is very different on Facebook, and is very different on Twitter. So I help you take that W5 story and apply it to meet the mindset of the viewer. So because you stepped in today, I normally charge $250 for 2 hours broken into 2 sessions. So I'm offering that for $200. The first session is geared upon what the platforms are all about, making sure your profile looks good. The second section is you go away, you practice some of what that you learned, and then I come back and I help you identify areas where you could build a relationship and take your story and plug it into other people's stories. And then I do offer monthly social media memberships available. You have 2 hours of my time. You can break it up into 15-minute, 10-minute throughout the month, or 3 hours or 4 hours. And that's where I help you with content ideas, social media analytics, applying the successful selling tips, relationship building strategies to bring followers into real life customers. So with that being said, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. So there you go, guys. Your W5 story is so important. It's your truth. It's what the world needs to hear now, is to educate me, add value to me. Where can we align? Where can we provide solutions to each other based upon our story? So thank you so much for watching the video, and those that attended today, thank you, Brady, for attending. Now, do you have any questions about this before I stop the recording?
No questions at all. You were really thorough. I do want to thank you for your insight, though. That was really great. And I mean, these are things I never even really consider when it comes to posting. I mean, usually you're kind of like blindly posting, like, oh, I'm doing this. But maybe miss certain areas of, connecting, right? Because you're not saying why or, what even maybe.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. When you think about it, so many people in business post about them. And this is what I mean. Post about them is different than posting about your W5 story to educate. Is you got to post about me. who is looking at your stuff. So when you put that post out, you kind of almost have to shift your body and go, okay, as someone's reading this, how are they perceiving it? Is my message clear? Is it adding value? Or am I being boastful? Because putting out, I'm the latest, greatest, awesomest social media person doesn't help anybody. It doesn't serve anybody. But posting out great ideas, that helps, and that serves.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a part of your branding too, right? When you're
absolutely
describing yourself in a way that you know, is helpful and insightful and inclusive as well.
Perfect. So because you came on, introduce yourself. I'd love to put this on the video and what you do for a living.
Yeah. So my name's Brady, and I just actually started my first business. So my business is called Estate Vision, and it's a real estate photography, videography, and 3D virtual home tour business. It's not just for real estate though. It's really exciting technology. The 3D aspect of it, especially, it's fairly new. It's common in real estate, but it's really also helpful and a little bit less common in for architecture, construction, and renovation as well, and even brick and mortar retail storefronts. Because what you can actually do is you can take the you can just like Google Maps, when you go to Street View, you can actually integrate the 3D and add it into Google Maps, so you can go right off of Google Street View and go into somebody's business.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool, and so that's what I do, and I'm just starting that up and branching out. So
excellent. I look forward to your evolving business. So thank you so much for coming today. And you can reach out to me at the beginning of this. You saw my website and my email. So enjoy the day, everybody. And that's it. Bye-bye.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome.